Let's do the usual sound check here. Thank you for those that have already joined me. Uh, yeah, perfect. We're good on sound. Let's get this window, these windows correct. All right, so I'll try and make this part quick. As always, thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for those that are watching live or that will be watching live. And thank you for those that will be watching the playback. As always, truly appreciate it. Um, Working today from a day job, working with Azure Blob Storage. I had to write some custom functions just so I can actually, what's it called? Write some custom functions so that I can actually manipulate Azure Blob Storage using it to store data and things like that. Essentially, what we want to do is get images, take those images, and then push them into our Azure Blob Storage. That return a URL of some sort. Possibly, yeah, that return a URL, or we can just already customize the URL in terms of the name and stuff like that, and then return once successful, return uh, the actual URL for that file, um, and then input it into like a signature or something like that. And that should cut down. This should make it. This is so we can actually have it to where what is it called? I don't even know what I'm doing. This is so we can have it to where the problem we're having is Google or Gmail signature has a 10,000 character limit. If you take an actual image, depending on how big the image is, that image alone, turning it into a data URL, pretty much a actual string, turning into a data URL would cause that signature to be about 30 something, 39,000 characters, even with minification and other things in there. So to get around that, one thing that we want to do is just upload this to our cloud storage, and then when it's uploaded to the cloud storage, give a URL, and then that URL be the URL that's actually going to be used in the signature itself once the person copies and pastes it. This is probably something we could do with AWS as well, and we'd have to use the AWS libraries. In this case, I'm using the Node.js Azure at Azure /storage -blob library, and then of course I have a custom library for like core stuff, for things like the connection string, and other stuff. So going through this real quick, first I created this is from the example from their website. I don't think I cut much out of this or anything like that. The only thing I added actually was this array right here, because I wanted to list all containers in our storage. So I try to make functions that I can reuse, of course, or reusable functions. So listing containers, listing blobs, create blobs, delete blobs. So those are like the main functions that I started with today. Went through quite a bit of research trying to deal with this and figure this whole thing out. It was a bit of a pain. Microsoft documentation is notoriously shit-tastic. That is a word. And you have to do a lot to try and figure it out. Also, go to other sources to try and get your best, or try and get a more direct answer. Stack Overflow, other articles, and things like that. They will do a decent job of telling you one or two things, but then they're going to tell you one or two things that are like 4 different versions old or something like that. Like there's different versions of the API, the blob storage API, like a 2014 version, a 2017 version. I think the latest is the 2020 version of the blob storage API. And then of course, even with the packages on npmjs.com, there's a uh, Azure storage or Azure blob storage package, and then there's the at Azure /storage -blob, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, like you got to deal with this. So that's kind of how you have to work it. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of sniffles. I got my little ital drink here. This is a whole bag of carrots, probably about 15 to 20 oranges, 5 lemons, uh, a cluster or two of ginger. Um, Sometimes I an apple. There's apples in here. Probably like five or so of those, And sometimes I actually put pineapples or even strawberries in here too. But in this one, I don't have the pineapples or strawberries, which isn't a big loss or anything like that. But for the most part, this right here will help you get through colds or anything like that. And actually, it's just good. It's a good meal replacement as well in terms of getting more nutrients. I've noticed that my crusty feet have gotten less crustier. So putting that out there. Good stuff. Um, but yeah, I juiced that myself here at the house, and I've been doing that for a couple of weeks, and I've noticed like improvements. Actually, what I'll probably be doing is modifying my diet to go a little bit more on the extreme side, just to get past this little uh, plateau that I'm at right now in terms of weight loss. So getting back to this function, it does not take anything in terms of parameters. Um, right here, you'll list your containers, and then what I wanted to do, it'll give me this, it'll give me the list of containers, and then I want to cycle through, and as it cycles through that, I want it to push it to an array and then give me an array of those containers. And then we'll actually show like in execution how that looks. Um, then I have list blobs and then container name as a string. What I actually will be doing is you have to put it, I'm just going to have it like everything, all the parameters done through an actual object. Um, it's a lot easier when I'm usually first just working with something and testing it out. Uh, this is what I eventually do. But for the most part, usually the first thing I do is just like, okay, hey, listen, I'll have just a string itself, and that's about it. I don't really go into, um, I don't really get into putting in the object and then all the different object, all the sub objects and stuff like that that I have to do. So essentially, I'm gonna use an object like this, and this is how it's gonna look in terms of like the container name, the blob name. I'm gonna pass that as an object, and then also have something in it called like response or something like that, or maybe just have it to where response is defined within the function like so. So this is how you add items to a JSON object that are not predefined. So I'll probably do something like that, but this is just like version 1 of this code here in terms of working with it and working with this API. But yeah, using the Azure library, it actually does a lot for you. One of the things that I had to do is where is here you go. Oh, first off, let's start with some artwork here. Yeah, so Metalhead 04. This is a pretty cool piece of artwork. I like this. This guy actually does some pretty good work. Gerald Esning. But yeah, he has like a whole Metalhead series. He even has like some Spawn artwork too, which is pretty cool. Oh, he's done stuff for Gears of War. It looks like art director, concept artist, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Yeah, so he has some pretty cool stuff here. This is pretty cool. Wow. This is kind of sick. Like it's like a lightsaber scythe or something like that. Oh, that's cool too. All right. But yeah, go ahead and check him out, definitely. All right, cool. So in terms of looking at code and breaking down pieces of APIs, there's a lot of stuff that's just not, you don't write out a whole documentation on it. It's just they don't have it like that. So you literally have to go through the actual code. You have to find out what is being called where, and you'll go through this and you'll look at all the different functions that they actually in this case import. And in this case I wanted to find the delete, actually delete. I think, oh, okay, the way they write it is like this. So this is how I found the delete function. And in this case, it says like options. It also tells you params. This type of notation here is really used in terms of like, higher end code editors like Visual Studio Code. And with Visual Studio Code, it will actually give you all the parameters if you're like writing this function out. So it'll actually have like helper. It's a bit of a helper, not function, but it's a bit of a helper tool or something like that. I don't know how to say that. But yeah, that definitely does help quite a bit when you're writing out these functions. and going through them. In this case, I use this delete function. I actually had to look up how to like really use this because I was just like, okay, what options does it take? And it says it takes options, options to container delete operation. And it's just like, what are the options? Like, what do I have? What can I do? And then if you use the documentation, okay, it tells you about the request, but you're not even putting in the request like this, which is shitty because you can't use Postman to do, well, you can't easily use Postman to do something like this because you actually have to, where it calls for this signature here, where it calls for that, like, you put in your share, you put in your authorization, right? Your authorization header. Then you say it's shared key, and then you have to write it just like this in this format, right? So it'll parse it, it'll say shared key or shared key light, and then what your actual account is, and then an actual, I forgot what they called it. Oh man, it's a client string. And with that string, it's actually derived by running it through like an HMAC function. And I'm like, bro, like, how am I going to put this in Postman? So that's most definitely just my lack of knowledge on something like that. But also, it's like, you're showing me an example, but I can't use this. So you have to find out other articles for people that have actually figured it all out, gone through the muck and everything else like that. And then, of course, even done it in JavaScript or even Node.js or whatever language you're using. And then you go from there. But that's kind of the nature of, when you're doing programming and you're working with new APIs, new SDKs in this case. Richard Dixon, what it do, bro? Hey, man, appreciate you joining, bro. Really do appreciate that. Just going over some Azure Blob Storage stuff right now, and just going over some functions that I actually had to research and write today. Made a couple, not boilerplate, but like starter functions. Usually, when I write functions for an API or anything like that, like I had to write functions for ClickUp, which is I think it's like ClickUp.com, which is a pretty decent service, very colorful. Now I have to write functions for Azure Blob Storage, and with the Azure Blob Storage, I can list containers, list blobs. The biggest thing is creating blobs and deleting blobs. So I'm really going through how I do all this and what I need to actually put together. So these are functions that I had to write for it. So, I had to do my async function or do an asynchronous function because I actually have to do some awaits. I have to wait for certain things to resolve. And then what I like for it to do is respond. In this case, I wanted to respond with in this case, I wanted to respond with, yeah, in this case, it'll respond with the HTTP response that comes that or the the resulting response from the API, and that'll be a JSON object. And I just respond. I like this right here where I give it a JSON object, and then in that JSON object, I have things such as, oh, sorry, I have things such as the container name, blob name. So those things are already defined here, coming into it. And the reason why I do stuff like that is because I might need to use these things, and then along with the actual response, because it may not even have that in the response. I should have gotten an output of this response, but didn't get it for now. So hopefully maybe next time if I put this up again. In this case, so the last thing I had to do, all these things were available via the documentation, thankfully. So I got these basic ones, but this delete blob, I had to do a combination of look through the actual code on the GitHub repository and also look through or actually search the internet for someone doing this, and kind of the key right here, because I couldn't figure out like how the delete command worked, but it doesn't take any parameters, or there is no parameters needed, even though it can take parameters. There weren't any needed for what I had to do. In fact, let me get off camera here because I noticed that works a little bit better. So actually, let me turn off camera. There we go. And just focus on this. Yeah, last time I was doing the stream, the camera get crapped out on me, so that kind of sucked. But I think it's just better so I can show you guys the screen and what everything that's going on. All right. So with this, I wrap it in a try catch block. If there are any errors, for instance, if I put in a name of something that does not exist, I already tested this out. The best way to do that is it gives out an array, or it gives out a long, it gives out an error, but then a part of that error is a JSON object, or part of the error is a JSON object, but it also has text, which is kind of weird. But I'm still able to access the JSON object within that error, and it has a dot details, and then this details is much like the response that I get here. So that right there is like, okay, hey, listen, expose that portion of that error, and then I can still work with it and write code that is general as opposed to being specific. What I might also add to a response like this is where if its status was successful or not, I might add like a status to this object that I'm passing in, and I might do success. So I might do status success, and then I might even have a message or something like that. I like usually doing that. That's how I write my APIs. I like to have a success or a failure. I don't really have much of an in between or edge cases or anything like, or an in between case or anything like that. So I never really need that. One moment. So that's what I've been working on, and then after that, I export it so I can use it in a another file called my custom file. So usually I'll have a Azure Blob Storage core.js, and that'll be my core functions and variables. And then I'll have a custom, which is where I have all my custom functions. Maybe I have a function that takes the list of containers, the array that's presented. Maybe I have a list of those containers, and then I have a function that maybe outputs it to a report or something like that, or a function that I'm going to use all the time, maybe a function that does emailing or something like that, and then I call that function. So it calls the core, does whatever the core needs to do, and then does the stuff in the custom function, and then outputs a report or something like that. So in this case, um, yeah, so in this case, Azure Blob Storage Core, this is an asynchronous function, so therefore it's thenable. So I can actually do then and then pass the resulting list as a parameter here to a function, to our asynchronous, or not asynchronous, an anonymous function. And then that anonymous function just console logs the list. If I wanted to actually do an actual file, upload a file, I actually have to take that file, whatever's created there, um, take that file, and then convert it to an actual string. So that was an interesting thing. That was one of the last things I figured out. So you convert it to a string, and then I can pass it to the create blob function that I have in my core function here. And in that create blob, so I'll have um, the container that I need to go to, the name of that actual blob, and then the file contents of that blob. So I converted it to a string, and then I'm going to fill the name of that function with, or sorry, the name of that blob with the file contents, which will be converted from a string. So that's pretty cool. And it's not like a buffer or anything like that. It's an actual, it actually converts it to a string. So it's taking an SVG and then actually converts that to a string, which is pretty cool. And then it'll show up in Azure Blob Storage. I definitely can't show that to you guys though, but trust me, it works. And then this is how I delete it. So I would pass the actual containing container, and then in this case, I will pass the name of the blob. And if it doesn't work, the response will come out and show me that hey, it's a failure or success. So this is how I write my APIs, and or this is how I write I go through and start to use newer APIs, consume those APIs, and then write different code to make that easier to work with. Because versus you defining a function that looks like this all the time versus just okay, now I can have reusable code that I can. What did I just do? Oh, I did page down. All right. And then I can actually have it to where, this right here would be, let list equal, and then that's it right there. And then I might do an await on that. Maybe, yeah, probably do an await on that. Probably have it in an asynchronous function or something like that. Um, that way, I can actually take the resulting list and then start manipulating that and doing whatever else I need to in the function. All right, cool. So I wanted to go over that. That's kind of the new stuff that I was dealing with today. What else we got here? Oh, and this is what I was looking at earlier. If you're still watching, Richard. Hope I'm not going up against anybody else in terms of streams, but it's not a lot of people that'll watch the stream anyway. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and close this out. Close this out. Metalheads. That's a pretty cool piece of artwork there. All right. All right. So we worked on our project primer. Still working on this thing. I didn't get to do anything over on this in between time, so we'll just start working with it now. I'll probably put that string in, the GitHub string, and then we can move on with it. One moment. All right, cool. So where we left off in this piece of code here is that let me make sure I'm on 0. All right, perfect. Primer. Let's go down here. Let's increase the font on this. Good. Well, we could probably go a little bit bigger. All right, perfect. So I kind of want to run this tonight and just, kind of get it over with, see what the hell happens. So do git gf log. Just gonna go over and do a little final check on this thing here. All right. So this is all the git stuff, or this asks for information. So the way it's supposed to fit in is that I do the GitHub portion of it and go through like actually creating an actual GitHub repo. One thing I will do though is let me look up the GHCLI. Whoa, this is a sick image. That's really cool. Simple, kind of colorful. That's really cool. GHCLI. Right. So with the GHCLI, you have to first log in. So authentication, setting editor, it's extending CLI. And I think I have the actual GitHub string somewhere. I think I have it in my notes here. Let me go ahead and find that. YouTube. Perfect. There you go. All right, great. So what I'm going to do here, I guess I can actually put it in because of the way we wrote it last time. Yeah, I guess I could put it in. If I screw up and you guys see it, it is what it is. I can always just change it. It's not a big deal. All right, so with this random string generate 5. All right, it's going to create the file. The way we had it is it would create this the token file or the auth token file and put the string in there, or we would actually provide it a file. So I think I'll probably do that. Yeah, I'll have it provide the file. And then, okay, cool. And the way we wrote it also is like if the auth token string or the auth token file was actually written, then it would clean up after itself and delete it. In this case, since we provide a file, I don't really need to do that. So, yeah, I'll just give me a second. Let me do that. All right, so nano root, and then auth file. That's a horrible name, by the way. Be a little bit more descriptive. th auth file. Not really doing anything special here. Just writing this auth file here. Do the move command. Do the clear command. All right, cool. All right, cool. So now when the auth file or that when I run this, it should go ahead and yeah, let's go ahead and try it. So it's just doing the get function. Oh man, and it brings up a good point. Richard Dixon, thank you for doing that, man. I don't have too many followers, man, so that's pretty cool. Right, man. It's like me getting a follower on Instagram. It's like me getting a little. It's just like I show my face on this one, man. It's like me getting a little Instagram follower, man. I feel popular. Follow me on GitHub, guys, for sure. That is github.com/treestarsystems. Github.com/treestarsystems. Follow some of my repos, look at some of my repos and things like that. I really do appreciate that. Like, I don't do much on social media. Like, I have a Facebook, and it's just like I'm not, bro. I'm on there like once a year just to like say thank you for saying happy birthday to me. After that, like maybe like biannually or something like that, or I think so. Or, yeah, every 6 months. I don't know if I said that right, but yeah, maybe there every 6 months. Otherwise, but I'm rarely ever there. So I really do appreciate you following me on there. Even the stuff that we do here, I do update it so you can actually see the code, and I can go from there. And hopefully, I don't give up too much stuff. But yeah. All right, guys. As always, thank you for that, man. Thank you for just showing the love there and following. And I hope I give you guys some type of value. Your GitHub isn't impressive at all. All right, man. Well, maybe we can like review it, but also with your GitHub, man, do like little projects like we're doing right now. Like people like to see this stuff. I put this on resumes anytime I'm going out for like any type of even like a night job or something like that. Um, when I'm like going out for jobs and putting information out there, I put my GitHub, my website. I'll start to even put some of these Obfuscate streams on there. I might be giving up too much on that. But don't worry about your GitHub not being impressive, man. Just it's impressive. It's not impressive when you don't have nothing on there. It is impressive when you actually have something on there. So trust me, you'll see some of the old stuff. If you look at one of my older GitHubs from my consulting company, mjnshosting.com. Last stream, my brother Jermaine, who's the J in MJNS Hosting, or MJ Network Solutions, which is a company I used to run. He what's it called? You'll see on that GitHub MJNS hosting. There's just like some stuff on there that I was working on, and it's pretty much dead. I don't really do anything with it, but listen, put stuff out there. Just put it out there, and start working on things. And that's a part of the reason why I do these streams, is just so I can actually get back into coding and make it a quote unquote daily part of my life. So in this case, please enter the full path of your GitHub auth token file. Press enter to skip and enter a token string. All right, so what I'll do is I might change that verbiage there. But in this case, I'll have access to the root, and then I'll use my auth file, and then let's see if this works. Come on. Exit code 0. So it actually worked. So the reason why we did the auth exit or the command exit code, that means it worked. And now in Bash, one thing you can do is actually look at the exit code of the previous command, or actually in the shell, I should say, in the Bash shell. you can look at the exit code of the previous command with, I think it's $? So we'll see that here in a moment. All right, so FG for foreground. All right. One thing I want to take out is this. We don't need it. We'll just comment that out. But so that worked. So now we did the get portion of it. Now let's see what the documentation requires of us. Actually, let's get rid of this because we don't need it. That's just a cool picture. You're just a pretty face. That's all. I don't need you. Get out of here. Oh, speaking of pretty faces, let's go ahead and hide mine because I don't need to have my camera die again. Oh goodness. All right, so we don't have an enterprise server. After we do the login, let's do we do auth run GitHub to authenticate your GitHub account, and we'll respect tokens using GitHub token. Hold on. Sorry. All right, so setting editor. All right, let's go ahead and do. I want to do. Let's see here. One thing, the next thing we want to do is actually create an actual repo. So there's a pull request and then repo clone list view. So I can do clone create. All right, cool. So we'll do a gh repo create name and then flags. So as always, we work with the command first. Alrighty, so one of the first things we'll do is we'll just do it in the command line and then try and script that. So create a repository under your account using the current directory name. Using the current directory name, git init my project, cd to my project. So let's go out to our op directory. All right, so we'll do git init test project. Yeah, we won't get fancy with that. Initialized. Okay, so it creates the folder for us, so that's pretty cool. And this is where, like, that test project, that name there, that's going to come from our other prompts. And we cd to that, and then we do gh repo create. All right, create with a specific name. Yeah, see, I don't like that. I don't like with it just being blank here. So I do like this approach here. So that's pretty cool. All right, because that's good. For instance, if we're using someone else's repo and we're cloning it, we can, there is also a clone command, but I just think about things like that. I want it to be specific. All right, cool. Create a repository in an organization, disable issues in Wiki. Oh, okay. So we can like set some of these things to be default, like, hey, listen, no issues, no wiki. I never use those things, but I will not like disable them. And it does give you it gives you some of the options up here too. Okay, in this case, what we'll do is we'll make this public. So treestarsystems. And these are the public repos. Achievements. Huh. Arctic Cold War contributor. Oh wow. Really? Whoa. Arctic Code Vault contributor. I didn't even know that. This is so they like I think there's a place in like Norway or Greenland, I don't know, but they're storing some of the GitHub archive information or some of the GitHub repositories. They're actually putting it on disk or tape or some type of storage medium and putting it in the Arctic Vault. That's pretty cool how they're doing that. But I guess one of my things is actually in there. I don't know how I did that. I don't know what I did, but yeah, it's out there. That's pretty cool. All right, cool. B Wheatley, Will Wheatley. Okay, I don't know who did that, but that's pretty cool. All right, so back on task here. Focus. All right, so we can do. Excuse me, guys. All right, so the name argument, the confirm flag, one of the public, private, or internal. Toggle off, enable issues wiki. All right, cool. So create name. So the way that's done is we'll do test project. All right, and then, oh, okay. Well, you know what? Let's exit out of that because, so you see how when we ran that, this is of course why we run it anyway, and we try to script these things to make it a little bit easier for us. But we'll do things like, so it has flags that we can actually use, and we'll just make this public. And I don't think there's anything else that I want to do. And I don't want to confirm. So y dash confirm. Skip the confirmation prompt. Oh, I do want to do confirmed, but instead I'll do the shorthand of the trigger, which is dash y. And dash y is something that you would even use in when you're using the package manager, and it just does everything for you without any prompts. So it just automatically prompts yes, and that makes things a little bit more scriptable. All right, so repository homepage URL. So you can add things. Oh, we can even add a description string. Oh, okay, so that's pretty cool. So like the dash D, that is, you remember, well, for those who've been following the stream, we have this here, project description. So we can actually add that a part of this. So that's really cool. So we can actually do dash D and then have that as a string. So let's go ahead and actually put that in there. Test description. I hope I wrote that right. Exclamation point because we're excited. All right, there's no team name, no template repository based on the template repository. That's pretty cool that I can actually make template repositories. So I mean, I even need I'm doing all this and I need like, I'm making a whole script and I could probably just make a whole template repository. I'm just doing too much, guys. I'm doing too much. But I like doing it this way, and I think it'll do better to do this way because then we can add things like the port number and all that other stuff and fill all that stuff in. But you can even also do that if we do like a template repository, have an environment or env config environment file in there, and then all you have to do is just fill in all those little blanks and so on and so forth. Go from there. So that's another thing you can do. Create a repository, added, remote. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and do this. So it should not do any type of other stuff. And let's see if it creates. And remember, guys, this is, oh, check my internet connection. I'm doing this, I think, yeah, I'm on the VM here. I got to figure this out because there's something, or I'll figure this out another time. And it'll probably be still broken by the next stream, but whatever. I said I'll do it eventually. But one of the reasons why we're doing all this is so for this financial asset tracker app, that is our ultimate goal to get to that, to where we start breaking down the Coinbase API and putting that information out there. I'm not sure. I might do like a I might have to try and figure out if I can do like a secondary account on that or something like that. I don't want y'all, getting access to my cryptos and stuff. All right, so this happens for whatever reason, but if I just do it a second time, it'll go through. Right, boom. All right, so cool. I wonder if hold on, let's see. So these are the public repositories. Oh, look at that! My guys, look what we did! Hey, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. So as you can see, refresh the page, and now our test project is there. This repository is empty. Don't worry, baby. We gonna fill that motherfucker up in a second, or probably like 5 streams from now, at the rate we're going. All right, so, but yeah, we just created an empty repository, and we went through, essentially, we just had to do this here, so, or this bit of code here, or these few commands here. What we're gonna do is add that to our scratchpad here. We're gonna add that to our scratchpad, and then we're gonna distill or consolidate those into a few commands. So one thing we did is get init. So once we initialized it, it made a folder, right? And then after that, we cd'd. So essentially, I mean, like when you're writing a script or you're writing something that is repeatable code, all you're doing is just writing what you did in a script that can be filled in with variables or what have you, and happens automatically, so you don't have to do it. Again, we're too pretty for ugly work. So in this case, we won't do this because we see that it asks us a question here. We don't want to. We don't want none of that. So we fill in all those ahead of time. All right. So we had our error. I think this. Let's do this because this actually worked, which is no different. But all right, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So when we do this, we'll do the gh command or the gh auth token command, and then with the gh auth token command, then we can go ahead and put in all of this stuff here. So yeah, boom. The only thing I don't like is, for instance, if we have an issue with if we have issue connecting to the internet. I mean, should I write code to catch that, an instance of that happening? We see that, it's not like we're not connected to the internet, but we have to do something to initiate that connection to the internet because of problems on my local system. So something to think about. And we have ways of doing that. I mean, if I would echo, actually, I don't think I need this, but let's see. If I would echo $ question mark, I'd see that the last run was 0. I could probably write something in it that says, keep doing it for maybe 2 or 3 tries until until echo $ question mark equals 0. Like while it's not equal to 0, go ahead and keep on running it. That is definitely something I could do, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Not because I'm lazy, but it's just kind of like, if that happens, you have other issues, right? And you got to fix those issues before you even run any of this other stuff. So yeah. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is, since like this do GitHub portion of it, or do Git, should be probably like one of the last things here. Let's do here. So I'll do Git. Yeah, do Git. All right. So do Git. All right. So do Git. Thinking about what else we gotta do here. So function do Git. Let's get some screen real estate here. Expand this. I'm gonna take this piece of scratch paper, put this on another window for myself, just so I can kind of view them at the same time. But essentially, there's not much I'm gonna add to it. I'm just gonna be looking at this and trying to mentally process how I'm gonna do all this. I'm gonna be doing some variable replacements. Yada yada yada. So I'll just move that over here. It's just figuring out, okay, where am I going to put all this? So like, if auth token, read here. After all of that, This line is if I'm writing stuff out to a file. If auth token file. So this block of code here should run most definitely run before we do our, our git init, right? So now, with that being said, is there anything that's creating folders for us? No, all of this should just be, this is our prompts section here that we've worked on in previous streams, but all we're doing here, and I hope you guys can see this stuff. So, see, let me look at the stream here. Oh, wow, yeah, that looks good. That looks decent, or decent enough. Yeah, I'll do the no camera stuff even more, guys. It definitely is going to be better for you guys. Although I like to see my pretty face. Cool. All right. All right. So, there's nothing in here that creates a folder. So all of these, they're generating files, and then do get is the only thing that's going to really create a folder. Cool. Great, 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 great. So, all right. So one thing we do is we do ask for the installation directory. With the installation directory, let's actually get a list of our variables, our variable names. Actually, I have it. Yeah, I do have it still. Great. Now let's get this here. This is the updated version, so I need that. And I'll put that a part of my little scratch pad here. And all right, cool. So now I can just go down and view that. So now I know that basically I need to replicate this and fill in the blanks for this essentially, right? All right, CD test project. So in this case, I will be CDing to, well, first, I should be CDing to whatever the base directory is or the install directory. So my base dir. So I'm going to CD to base dir. And this won't work in terms of like, unless I run the all the prompts. So that's one of the things I want to do tonight is actually run this whole thing. We have it to where it's created the repo, or it will create the repo, and then we go from there. And then so git init, and then we're going to initialize using the project name. And then here, I'll do the full path. So I like doing that a little bit better, or a little bit more, because it's right on point and exact. Just in case there's any confusions or anything like that, I like to do the full path. And I think that'll work out a little bit better for us. And then here, test project. All right, cool. Project name. Get that $sign out of there. Description. This is encased in double quotes. And then we'll do project description. And all I'm doing is just going through. This is basically what I have on my scratch pad here, and I'm just looking at these variable names and using that. So git init, project name, gh repo create, and then repo. All right, cool. Actually, yeah, repo create. All right, so after it's dealt with the auth token, you either put it in manually with the full path, or you copy and paste it in. And then when you copy and paste it in, so like read line, please enter the full path to your GitHub auth token file. Please enter, press enter to skip, and enter. All right, let me rewrite that. Too many ands. Press enter to skip. Then skip to manual entry. It's too wordy. Token string. Press enter to skip. Oh gosh, English. It's like, okay, how do you say it that is straightforward and makes sense every single time? Uh, is not left up to interpretation, um, and is somewhat understandable. Maybe not so much proper English. Like, how do you do that? And then also make it succinct. I mean, because even this is kind of freaking wordy. I guess like, how much screen real estate does the person have that's running this? Like, does it come off? Does it go off the screen? Well, it should wrap, but it's like, how do you deal with that? It's like, Jesus, how do you write it? All right, Richard Dixon, if you have any type of, I don't know if you're still on the stream here, but if you have a suggestion, go ahead and put that in. Help Grizzly with English. It's not live coding. This is live English. All right, press enter to manually skip. Press enter to manually insert. I'm sure this is getting to people where I'm doing the capitalizations there. Manually. Manually insert the token string. Yeah, enter is enter. All right, enter the token string. All right, cool. So if auth token is not a file, then please enter your GitHub auth token. Press enter to skip. Ain't no enter to skip. Yeah, I mean, if they skip it, they're gonna be screwed. I'm just trying to keep up with you. Not gonna be much help. That with that being said, what are you having a hard time with, if anything at all? Let me know. Like, definitely, if not this stream, if you want to say it or not, just let me know and I can explain it further. Because a part of this is to help me, but it's more or less to help other people that are getting into this. People that were, I was like you too, man. Trust me, man. It was just like I never got this stuff, and over time you get it, and I'm just continuously learning every day, like going through that Azure Blob Storage API and library today was a freaking it's a freaking pain. But I made it through it and was successful, or somewhat successful in getting that going. But let me know if there's anything I need to explain further, please. I will take the time to do so. All right, please enter your GitHub auth token. And I'm just walking through this process a little bit more. I mean, this is kind of what you do with coding. Like, this is the boring part. I don't really have something that's really worked out for you guys, something that's polished that should work, from get-go. And we're building this as we go along. And really, what it shows you is, you know, uh, like, you don't have to be super proficient. It's something that you would like if you're doing a job, but if you're not super proficient, okay, how can you actually, you know, go from there? Like, how do you become proficient is what I'm trying to say. So this is one of the ways, man. You just go through it and you do little things like this. I mean, sometimes you work on a function for like freaking 2 to 3 hours or something like that, man, and you don't get much stuff done, but that function that you wrote is a killer function. Like, you're reusing that all the time, so definitely, it's definitely how it is. All right, so we want this to execute cd to baster. So base directory. Richard Dixon says, cool. Yeah. Hey, if you guys need help, man, just holla at me. I said I need to put like my email address in the banner, but we'll see about that. So CD baster, git init project name, CD baster project name. All right. Yeah, honestly, we should be able to run this right now. Yeah. Oh, no, we can't run this. We can't run it like this. We are going to get rid of the do get. We'll comment that out. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of cleanup we're gonna have to do at the end of all of this, getting rid of some these function calls here, because we just don't need them at the last execution. Even get rid of some of these like function templates that I have here, and we don't need those. Do prompts. All right, cool. So do prompts, we'll uncomment that. And let's go ahead and run through it. So echo. Oh, actually, we are. Yeah, we won't do any of this other stuff in terms of generating all those files. But eventually, what we're gonna do is once we generate all those files, in fact, what we might do, we'll reorganize this and do the do get first, and then generate all these files, and then fill in all the blanks for all those files. So all these files that we have here in terms of our template for Nginx and all that, like we'll have that done after do get. Actually, after system, there should be some system stuff that we do. Do prompts. And then, so do system dependencies. We got to do that first. So we can even get the the GH command. I don't think we put that in here. Oh, look at. All right, cool. So first we run system dependencies, and again, I want to say it's procedural, but it's synchronous. So Bash is synchronous in terms of the way it runs. It runs one line after the other, does everything in order. So if there's a variable that you need to actually use or anything like that, you have to put that variable, you have to define that variable ahead of time. And if you're defining that variable ahead of time, you have to go through, you define the variable ahead of time, and then you also have to define functions ahead of time as well. So in this case, there are no function parameters that I can actually pass or that I will be passing to this. But if I wanted to pass a function parameter, it'll be like param1, param2, and stuff like that. And you address them accordingly. I think with $1, $1, $2. So yeah, that's how that works. But in this case, I won't do that because everything pretty much bleeds into one another. There isn't any isolation, if you will, to not allow functions to bleed into, or variables and other things to bleed into a function or anything like that. Kind of like what you would deal with JavaScript with the difference between const, var, and let. Or sorry, var, const, and let. Const you can't change. Var for variable you can change at any point in time, so you can reassign it if you ever need to. Const you can't reassign it ever, so it is what it is from day one. You can't, or from from its initialization. And then let is like var, but it's scoped. So meaning that it will not bleed out of a function or anything else like that. And it will be only within a function. And in some cases, if it's nested within a function, or even an if statement, it will not be available to the outside or greater function. It's not something that can be used in other functions, but you can do inheritance with a what's it called? Let variable. So that's just definitely possible. And guys, do your research on that in terms of like going over that. It's one day I probably actually go over that a little bit more, especially once we get into our when we get into what the end goal of this boilerplate is, which is um, preparing a Node.js app so that we can do some financial asset tracking, and I can get away from using my darn spreadsheet and entering everything in manually, um, and maybe get some things that are automated. All right, cool. I did all that just to say we're going to run this system dependencies. I don't think there's anything destructive in this. I mean, it is what it is. All this stuff has already been added, so it shouldn't be an issue. Um, yeah, it shouldn't be an issue for us. npm pm2 G-G. Okay, cool. And we're doing this on our Hyper-V VM, so we can always just spin up another one if we ever need to. I don't have a snapshot of this, and I don't think I'll make one, but yeah, do generate PM2. All right, I'm just doing the final checks here. A little bit on the OCD side with this stuff. But once this is done, do system dependencies, run that, install everything, do Git. That'll create our Git repository and initiate it, or actually make it to where it's on our GitHub repo. It'll do our authentication and everything like that in terms of our asking for our what's it called, our authentication. All right, and then after this, it'll do all our other stuff. I don't think there's anything from this that needs to be put out there in terms of, oop, I wrote that wrong, do get. I don't think there's anything that needs to be used from this or produced from this do get, other than, the file system structure, such as the folder, and then initializing the GitHub repo. So there's no variables that I have to define. And if there are variables that I have to define, I would define them all the way at the top here first, and then just go ahead and manipulate them. Is this okay? So this is one cool thing you can do in Nano. You can actually press the Alt key and then the down arrow, and it'll move from function to function. Or yeah, it looks like it's function to function. So it kind of does it based on curly brace there. It looks like. All right, do get is written properly. I was worried about that. But other than this, there's nothing that this produces that I actually really need anywhere else. I don't even think I need to output a file, so we'll get rid of that. Do get, do generate. All right. Prompt test. All right, cool. Hey man, like my good friend says, just do it. Do it. So we're gonna do it. If he dies, he dies. So let's go ahead and do Node.js boilerplate. Project primer. And again, this is another reason why I do the full path, or the absolute URL, or the absolute full path for the file path, because I'm running this within this folder here, but then I need to go to opt whatever. It's just like, why do all that? I'd have to do like previous directory, previous directory, and stuff like that. Like, I don't need to do all that if I just do the actual absolute path or the full path instead. So that goes to what I was saying here. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and do it, man. Boom. All right, enter project name. First full run. First full run of script. Enter system ID. And another thing is, maybe we could add something. Do we want to make this public or not? Like maybe we can have a little string for that. That'd be kind of cool. So I might add like a if statement for something like that, but we'll do that after this first run to see if this works or not. Enter system ID. In this case, I usually like to have a system ID. So sys0. Enter applications production port number. So 2, 3, 4. We already went through, hey, how this is going to work. We'll do the default for the app directory, so we're cool with that. All right, cool. So it's running some stuff. So one thing I see with this maybe I don't want to do this. No, I do want to do this because it's going to run all the stuff that I need here. It's not bad, but it's good to go through this and we could see how it operates, and then we could see where we want to add some tweaks or something like that. There also might be a way where we can run this in the background, but we actually want this to run through fully, simply because we want to make sure that it if there's any errors or anything like that, then we deal with it, um, and then just rerun the script again. And if there are any errors, I mean, do we want to handle those errors? Are those errors good to stop us and cause us from, stop us from doing anything bad? So we have to deal with. All right. Oh man, thanks guys. I appreciate the 3 likes. It matches the people that are watching. One of them being me because I also watch the stream just to see if there's any issues. But I really do appreciate those that are here. I really do appreciate you guys. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Just like I was telling Richard earlier, if there's an issue that you guys have or something that you want to know more about, holler at me, please. So now we can see that this is pretty much done running. It looks like it's done all the packages and it's also done all the npm stuff. Um, PM2. All right, cool. That's been installed. All right, so now it's asking for the auth token string. In this case, I have that already in a file. But if I didn't enter this, then I would actually go through. And a part of like testing this is that you're going to have to test it where you don't enter that. And then you have to test the if statement to make sure that it actually takes in your string. So we will be running this script multiple times, probably not tonight, but we will be running this script multiple times in the future. Um, yeah, all right, cool. So this right here, I have it in GH auth token, and I can also do tab completion on this, which is pretty nice when you're working with it in Bash. So I know it's in the root directory, so I can do tab for root, and then I could do, then I could, and then I could like see all the other stuff that I have in that root directory. Actually, I won't do that right now because I don't think there's anything I have to hide in there, but there's just some things I can't show you guys. All right, so GH auth file. All right, it's running it. Boom. Ah! All right, guys, it did it. First run. Good. All right. Okay. First speed run. Done. So let's go to treestarsystems and let's go to our repositories. We're up to 9. First full run. Cool. So, guys, it works. With that, deuces. I'm out of here. Screw you guys. Have a nice night. How you going to say have a nice night after you say screw you guys? It's funny. All right. So, first full run. It looks good. I'm really happy about that. Sweet. Yeah, Richard Dixon says, sweet, man. Appreciate it. Like, it is sweet, bro. Like, it's cool. Like, let me turn on the camera so you guys can see how, like, happy I am. All right, do that. But it's sweet that, like, we're running through this. And you guys, if you're following following my repo, just like Richard Dixon did, I appreciate that. Just like Richard did, he's following my actual account on GitHub. But you can see now this repo is public. So now let's add a little switch in there. Maybe another prompt. Do we want it to be public or not? That would be something. Do we want to collect that before? Um, hmm. How would we do that? All right, so maybe we want to have this repo to be private, right? Excuse me. Also, how do we deal with if the repo already exists? Ooh, if that repo name already exists, how does that work? Uh-oh. That's something to think about. Something to write an if statement about. Oh my God. All right. So everything worked well on that. Oh, actually, let's go ahead and actually look. LSLAH previous directory. Yeah, it's our first full run here and test project. That's good. I'll go ahead and delete those repos later. I don't really need them or anything like that. But let's work on the public or non-public question. Actually, let's see here. GitHub CLI. All right, so we do have, I think, 3 options. So public, private, or internal. We're gonna have an if statement on that, and probably do a while loop. And what we'll do is, you see how it has that dash dash public? What we might do is have it instead, like have the variable replacement in place to where it'll do like the dash dash for us. Yeah, I think we can do that. Yeah, I think we can do that. So I don't want to write out, 3 different if statements for this. So what I'll have it do is whatever you enter or whatever you choose, it will do whatever you enter or choose, it'll do that. So for instance, hmm. Let's copy something here from the top. Let's copy our read line here. Repo visibility. And we'll enter something like public, private, and then what else is there? Internal. And then we'll have a default. We'll have a default to public. Oh, sorry. Let me turn off the camera here so you guys can see this a little bit better. All right. So just like we had before, we would default it to public. Let's take that out here. So how do we do our defaults again here? And what I'm showing you guys is that I just don't sit here and remember every freaking single thing. I remember I did something, but I don't remember that, like, oh, okay, this is how I did it and everything like that. So in this case, this variable, I don't really need it outside of the actual command or anything like that. Yeah, what I'll probably do is just do a little bit of, I don't need to do prompts again. So we know that works. Now we're going to add something, but we don't want to run through the whole update process. So we'll just do git, uncomment that, save. Oh, yeah, I need some code. I call upon the code of the past. Shagabashindo. All right, cool. So right here, default variable if blank, boom. So I just did the Control K command for those multiple lines, and then just did a Control U to put them back in there. One thing that's cool about Visual Studio Code is it does have like the nano key bindings and stuff like that, and you can actually put a little bit more into those as well. Let me turn this camera. Yeah, so you can put a little bit more into those as well. So in this case, we do the question is like, what do we do first? In this case, yeah, let's go ahead and get our prompts out of the way. I like to do those first. In this case, we will define our variable at the top. We'll call this visibility. I hope I spelled this right previously. think I can get away with this. All right. So, I mean, usually if I want to define a variable, yeah, I have to define this first. I have to define this first because I'm actually calling it here. I'm like wondering, like, if I can I get away with like not defining it until here, but I can't because I have to define it first. So, and then default variable if blank. All right. So let's take this code up here or this read line, put it up there because we have to ask the question first. And we have to take that in via the variable visibility. And I think we have to define it first. I think we can actually get away without defining it first here. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. But every time we call it from here on out, we have to actually have it defined. And then we can assign a value to that variable down here like so. And then while D. All right, Richard Dixon says, it is encouraging to see you have to go through the documentation. I be feeling like I need to know everything by hard and writing code, or by, I guess you said by hand is probably what you meant, by hand and writing code from memory. You know, yeah. Oh man, the imposter syndrome is real. So yeah, that's a great comment, man. Like, and that's why I go through this process, like, and I chose to do this instead of just, okay, like I'm just gonna come out with a very polished how to. No, like you're gonna see me go through the shit, the muck, the mire, and everything like that. Um, I, and I want you to see, like, hey, listen, I don't remember all this shit, man. Like, hey, listen, I figure it out, and then I throw it away. I get it out of my head. I don't really sit there and be like, oh, do I have to put the code over here? And I think it's like, nah, man, I don't remember that stuff. I have to. I stress out on it too, and have to go through it. And yeah, I get imposter syndrome bad sometimes, bro. I do too. And I can get into, hey, listen, you got to be confident. Man, sometimes it's just like, bro, I know people that would just spit this off the top of their head like it ain't nothing, man. And you want to be like them, but you also have to remember that one, some people are just a little bit more custom or built, quote unquote, built for this. And two, they had to go through it too. They had to learn at some point as well. Like not everybody's going to be a Google wizard czar coder or anything like that, czar of searching or something like that. I don't even know if they still have that. I remember watching that in their like Google movie. But not everybody's going to be that, man, and they have to go through this BS too. And this documentation exists for a reason. Why? Because you want people to actually consume your API, your CLI, your tools, so on and so forth. And you have to read the documentation. You have to RTFM, read the RTM. Yeah, RTFM, read the fucking manual. So I like to say read the motherfucking manual, but I just like to curse. But you have to go through and read the manual, man. Like that's just how it is. And I don't remember everything, so it is what it is on that. But let's see here. I think Z is for empty. Okay, so Z is empty. Actually, we don't have to do Z. Hmm. Okay, so while this is not equal to, so we're gonna have to do a couple different strings here or conditions. Um, if it's public, so we're gonna go through. If it's blank, assign it public. But if they go through and put it in there, actually put in a string, then it should be public, private, or internal, right? If it's anything other than that, get that the fuck out of here. Why did I blur? Like, why did I censor the shit part, but then said fuck? That's funny. Oh, listen, that is, I'm not gonna lie, that's like super sexy when you have like really good documentation, like freaking view. Oh wow, damn, double barrel shotgun. That's a freaking nice piece of Vue.js documentation. Uh, nation. Richard Dixon says, "Yeah, I'm enjoying the no documentation. Way cleaner than Microsoft Docs when I was messing with C sharp." So like, yeah, definitely. You find like documentation is probably sometimes even more important than the project. If you have to deal with things like the passport library for authentication, like that thing is absolutely frigging annoying. Like it's freaking annoying. I hate it. Like that documentation sucks, but there are people out there that have done it and have gone through it. Another piece of documentation that's really nice is Vue. So I haven't really gone through Vue documentation. Sorry, I haven't used Vue in a project, but I do want to use it, and I've always heard its documentation is like freaking the shit. Um, but if you go through like handling user input, like all of, let's expand this here. All of that information is here, so you can actually use it. They've actually improved on it. Well, that's pretty cool that they have like all the sponsors here and some ads and stuff. Um, but they even their ads are clean. Look at that. Oh my God, clean. So template syntax and going through this is really nice. I even work with projects like Observium. Oh, is this Lucifer? Of course, it's Lucifer. Observium. That's a pretty cool picture. Community. So Observium community. Let's see the documentation. Oh, they've actually improved their documentation. Developing uh now hardware requirements. I had to go through this working on another project where we had to pull billing information from Observium and doing some other stuff and accessing their API. Pretty cool though. It's a really good project and it actually grows over. It's been growing over time. But you can see here like adding from the CLI, how to add things. And this is nice because they give you this, they give you a little bit of information of like, okay, I can script this, like you can script something like this. If you want to add a device or something like that, add a couple prompts. Is it UDP, UDP6, TCP, all this other stuff. If it's SNMP or anything like that, you can go ahead and add that. Maybe even use a CSV file with a whole bunch of devices that's done by somebody that does data entry, maybe a lower level knock person. They put all that information for all the new devices, or even a web form, and then you can expose this to a web form and go through it and do whatever else you need. So like that's really cool, man. I really love doing stuff like that. But I do miss this project. I really wish I was still working on it, but I had to leave that job so I can even go ahead and get a home and move out of Florida and stuff. So it is what it is, man. But I do miss the project that I was working on, and I don't know if they're still doing it. I wish I was a part of it, but it is what it is. This current job, I want to stay here a little bit longer and finish out some of the projects that we're doing. So, all right. Okay, cool. Yeah, back to what we were saying. Now I feel a little bit of something in my chest. I'm not trying to be all choked up here, but yeah, I missed that. All right, cool. So let's go here. Public. Yeah, I think we can do an or operator. All right, so we will do public, private, and let's do internal. All right, cool. So those are the three options that we have, default to public. And what we'll do here is pretty much copy and paste. Enter valid. Let's go ahead and I know that is not grammatically correct, guys. Get over it. I'm just playing now. I have to get over it more than you guys do. Enter a valid visibility string. Uh, Yeah, and also you see how I just did this here, where it's still, if you just do blank, it will still do this. I wish I could reuse that, but well, I can reuse it, but I would have to make a whole new function. I don't want to do that at that level of complexity, but it would be a lot cleaner though. So, might be something I should do, you know? If it was like another language like JavaScript or something like that, I would actually do that. Make like reusable pieces of code and functions within functions and stuff like that. That works out a lot better. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, cool. Default variable if blank. Okay, cool. So that's good. Visibility public. So do while done if blank. Yeah, so if you enter blank, then it'll just automatically make it public, and it should step forward after that. Now let's do, ooh, how can I do this? One thing that sucks is that I don't have a multi-line option here, and I don't want to do the authenticate thing. See that? Hold on. You do all these things, and you're like, why am I doing it hard? So let's go ahead and look at some documentation here. Nano multi line edit. Oh, nano select multi-line. All right, cool. How to comment multiple lines in Nano at once. Oh, there it is, baby. Let's see. Escape 3 will comment or uncomment the selected lines in Nano Editor. The default comment character is okay. The comment character may be modified by the comment option in your Nano RC file. All right, so you mean escape plus a numeric 3? Yeah, that's what he meant. So I know if I do like Alt 3, it'll do that. You see that right there? So but then it says escape 3. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. So we'll just do Alt U on that. But I know I can select multiple lines. All right, cool. So I think I could do the shift. So shift and then the down arrow. And I don't want to run all of this here. Right? So let's just escape 3. Hey, look at that. That's sick. Cool, that makes things a lot easier. So as you can see, I just edited multiple lines, and that's like it's just something I knew about in terms of I know I can select multiple lines, but I didn't know if I can edit multiple lines. So this is one reason I like Nano. For those that are Vim ninjas out there, they'd be like, "You are but a whelp, a youngling in the space of Linux command line uh, word processor editors." But and I am, and I don't want to be a Vim ninja. I'm not that hardcore. um oh crap, we forgot a line. Anyways, there you go. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That is really cool. Why did we forget that line? That line was selected. I guess I just probably should have just had it to the cursor right here, cursor right there. Anyway, so yeah, that's cool. Now we can just run this little bit of code within our overall function here, and let's go ahead and do it again. So we'll do a shift and and then so I can do a shift alt 3 and it'll do that. Even the escape 3 will work, but the alt 3 will work as well. And what I want to do here is echo All right, so I don't want this to actually run. And I don't need this description portion of it here because I'm only gonna do, take out the description portion. There we go. And then should only be doing do get. Yeah, I've already taken out. Yeah, I've already taken out the prompts, so I won't be doing that. So I won't run the prompt. It'll only run do get, and it'll only run this piece of code here. But what we want to do is the string replacement for visibility. This will be the last thing I'll do, and I will be logging off for the night, guys. I do want to get a little bit of workout in. I'm not feeling too well. Got to drink my life-saving juice. I might just say screw it and just eat something and chill out for a little bit and just rest. I'll probably go for a walk tomorrow morning. I didn't go this morning, though. Been having a bit of the sniffles. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and run it. Open up another term here. All right. Project primer. All right, so repo visibility. So it asks our question, and it just does public. So let's go ahead and test blank entry. Oh, blank entry doesn't work for us. Enter project visibility. So blank entry, or it should not. Oh, no, it shouldn't be blank. So if visibility equals blank, then do public. All right, so then, well, let's test this. Yeah, it keeps on asking us. Okay, so let's fix that first. One thing at a time, guys. One thing at a time. So if visibility equals blank, then visibility public. So let's go ahead and add a nice little echo here. Echo visibility. Yeah, so it says public. So it's giving us the right thing there. While visibility is not equal to public. Now I do have, single quotes versus double quotes, but we know visibility is equal to public if we do blank. So why is this happening? All right, so repo visibility, public, enter valid. Primer.sh. So we got public, private. What am I missing here? Visibility is public. Then visibility equals public. I don't have to initialize the variable beforehand in terms of bash because it's already initialized here. All right, so then if, actually let's expand this so we can see a little bit more here. Okay, good. All right, so, oops, what am I doing? There we go. Expand this a little bit more. It's expanded now. So let's look at our previous code and see if I'm just doing something wrong in terms of syntax. Our while loop looks good in terms of like, okay, we can just chain it together, keep on using our OR operators. I'm thinking that it's just not getting to where we need it to go. Baster, is it because, do I have to define visibility all the way up here? Let's see. Visibility equals, all right. No, still the same thing. So I shouldn't need visibility up there. I mean, if you don't have to define a variable or initialize a variable in a certain spot, I mean, I try to take it out if I don't need it. I don't think I need it in a global or public space like that. I only need it within the function itself. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Syntax is off. So yeah, that's syntax. So I noticed with Bash, if you do things like that, if you have the curly brackets, it won't parse or interpret the code properly if you have them like close together like that. So I think that might be some languages are very, very strict on syntax in terms of like, you excuse me, it's strict on syntax in terms of like you have to have certain things. You have to have spaces or no spaces and things of that nature. So that's definitely something that I see with Bash quite a bit. And this is why you go through and reread your code and then relook it and also look at your examples as well. I don't think I need a double bracket here for the if statement. Um, or double square bracket. Yeah, I shouldn't need that. That's crazy because even with here with this base there, that shouldn't be the problem. All right, cool. That's probably not our issue here. Then we'll see. Let's see. If statement then, and then we close the if statement. Uh, and yeah, that shouldn't have been a problem anyways because guess what? We have public here. So echo visibility is not equal public. I could probably get this done also in one fell swoop in terms of using a regular expression as well. So I might consolidate all of this into one little regular expression, kind of like I did up here with this variable here. So we can do valid host names. And that actually cut down a couple things that are a couple conditions that we actually had previously. So I might actually go ahead and research and do that. Maybe it's just a issue with spelling? No, maybe. So let's go ahead and check that. One thing I like to do is Control W. All right, cool visibility there. Yep, 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 yep. Meow, 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 meow. Yep, yep, yep. All right, good. Now, why are you not getting? And I think I understand that. Like, I partially understand this. Like, if it's, I think one of the reasons why is because of these conditionals, these extra conditionals, because it's like if it's not one, yeah. Let's see if we can do it like that. I think it's due to those conditionals there. Urinary operator expected. Where? Where were you expecting that? Like, bro. Line 249. Okay, urinary operator expected. Are you not getting that? Huh. What am I running into here? So visibility. If I equal visibility, urinary operator expected. If visibility equals blank, I think I can go with, okay, bash. It's like bash if blank. I think it's just dash z. So why is it if shorthand would be this, right? Quote unquote, maybe even cleaner. So, oh, that's it then. But why is it? Huh. Well, I mean, we fixed the problem, but I'm still perplexed as to why that is like that. I mean, why can't I just and echo empty? Okay. Oh. you see how on this right here, it doesn't convert it to a string per se, but it considers it a string. Why is this page looking like this? Why is it on different lines? Anyways, so determine is far. Weird. All right, I wanna play with that because I mean, okay, it did. First off, it did what we needed it to do here, where it just enters in public. So hopefully that should run when we actually do a full run here to finish out all this. But yeah, okay, let's see. That's weird to me, at least. So we know this works, and we will go ahead and do that. Actually, no, we'll do this. And then we'll do this. Since what I did is just undid whatever changes I did, and then repasted the cut line back in there, and then it just makes it easier than like trying to write this whole thing out again. So if visibility, and maybe I have to convert this to a string or something like that. Alrighty, brother. Thank you, Mr. Dixon. I appreciate you showing up, brother, as always, man. Peace. All right, cool. So yeah, with the visibility here, I think I can get away with that. Yeah, yeah, and it looks like a part of the issue is just converting it to a string. If I look down here where I copied that code from, yeah, if I look down here, I went against a little bit. No, yeah, because I mean, this should have been a string here. I don't know. I should have a problem here, if anything, and I probably will have a problem there if I enter something in there. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, it's maybe something I have to like deal with later on in testing, or keep in mind when I do a full run of this. But yeah, anyways. All right, so that works like that, but I like this line better. But that helps me understand what I'm actually doing in terms of like, okay, um, this is the issue that might arise, and going from there. So I like that, or I like that better, and I like going through that process because it's like, okay, now you're understanding the syntax more, even if I don't do this often in terms of using this language. All right, so now let's go ahead and put our conditionals or different conditions back in there. And let's go ahead and test primer, visibility. Oh no, visibility public. Why are you still asking for a valid one? What did I do? Yeah, so there's a problem with the conditionals. Maybe I could just do a, huh. Maybe I can do an if statement and then an else. Because with this while, it's essentially it expects to do like one of these three. Like if even if it is public, even if it is public, it's not private, and then it's not internal. So you still have to run this. So that's like the logic issue that I'm running into right now. So let's do this. Instead of while, oh, if then fee. Okay, so we do have an internal if statement here, but this is our external if statement, or our higher level if statement here. Um, let's go ahead, project primer, and so it should default to that, and that's fine. That part works well, but I shouldn't have to be prompted for that. So let's go through this. one thing I want to do is a regular expression. So do regex valid visibility. So if I could do a regular expression that just handles the visibility, then that'll be fine. All right, so let's go to regex101.com, I think it is. Yeah. All right, and I think this will be okay using this regex. It should work in Bash. Let's go ahead and put in public. I think I'm writing this right. Private, and then internal. All right, so I won't need multi-line. And we went over this in past videos. If you use something like regex 101 or something like that, with these tools, you can actually test out regular expressions. The only thing I worry about is like these names here, matches character literal. And I think that, okay, so it says matches the character literally case sensitive. Okay, so I think I can do, no. All right, let's just test it. And I am not good at regular expressions by any means. Okay, so it works. Private. All right, internal. All right, cool. So it matches. So we got our base regular expression, and that's a very simple one. This one checks for a valid FQDN or valid host names. In this case, I don't have to do all this other stuff. I think I still have to encapsulate it in a in parentheses here. Let's go back to this here. And let's go ahead and copy that. I like these little copy buttons, by the way. Yeah, these little copy buttons are super useful, especially when you're like dealing with long strings. So definitely watch out for those guys. So yeah, this should be all I need here. And then let's see how I regex. Yeah, so this is how I used regexes. All right, so let's go ahead and use that up here. There'll still be a while loop here. Get that. Oh, wait, no, I kind of want to see if I still need that. So do, and then convert this back to done. So we'll do echo system ID. In this case, we'll do echo visibility. And visibility. So now what I will do is we can test this regex beforehand. So I can do this whole line, because essentially that whole line should equal. What this will do is it'll output nothing or the matching word in this case. So if I do boom, I think that's the right way to doing that. And echo visibility. In this case, it'll be a string, and we'll call it public unexpected. Okay. How do I write regular expressions in this? I think I have to do it like this. All right, public All right, echo public, private. Give me a sec. Let me look up how to do that. grep regex. Huh, what is this? That's a pretty cool picture there. All right, regular expressions in grep. How to do, actually, it looks like we already looked at something here. Let's do that. All right. So grep Vivek Etsy password, and then we're looking for grep p. All right. So let's do grep dash p. That's the only thing. Oh, okay. So that's using the Perl regular expressions, or that's the flag for using Perl regular expressions. Now, just looking at how someone enters in a regular expression, I totally forgot how to do this. Just like, and everybody knows regular expressions like crazy. Oh, okay. So I just have to do that. All right, cool. I think what I have to do here is this. No, I think echo public. There we go. So that's how you do it on the command line. But yeah, so this should enter, or this should give me a, and we'll see if it runs in the variable that I put up there. I think it should execute like that, but we'll see. So if I do publics, well, that's a part I don't like that. So we want it to be exact. It has to be public, not publics. So that's going to be something that we have to deal with. And let's do an exact match. Whoa, whoa. This is CG. That's crazy. Wow, that's really good. Anyways, I meant to control F. Exact. Yeah, so you see how it does print all lines with exactly 2 characters. So I'm probably gonna have to do so to do an exact match, it looks like I have to do the caret symbol, which is start of the line, and then $ for end of the line. And so I can do public. Right. So what I did there is just to make sure that it doesn't do things like publics or internals or privates. Um, privates. It doesn't do anything like that. That it only catches public. Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and test this on the command line. Um, Thank God the camera's not on, so you guys can't see me look at the keyboard because I'm a perfect typer all the time. Screw you guys. All right, cool. So there. All right, so that should work. No, you're not supposed to do that. Hmm. How do we figure this out? Maybe we gotta take out the global flag. No, even then it still doesn't. Let's do a search for regex exact match. All right, cool. Yeah, so if you have so Stack Overflow, if you have a the input, well, okay. If you have the input, the password, that's not even me being dyslexic here. If you have the input in a variable and you want to match exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then anchors will help you. Okay. All right, so let's do this. All right. So I'm doing the anchors. I did the anchors as expected. Now, do I have to do the... Just make sure you match is not preceded by some character number. Okay, match. Let's match. Yeah, I got it right. I think I got it right. Maybe, though. Let's look at our regex here. I may not have to do this for every single one. Also, if I take a global, so it works here. So I can't put in publics, but I can put in privates. Oh, you see how that still works? Well, no, that makes sense. That's what we realized beforehand. What we will do is take this $, move it to the end, and let's see if it does what I want to expect it to. Right? Cool. So privates. No, yeah, it's going to be matching too much. Per regular expressions, right? All right, cool. So privates, that doesn't work. Perfect. Internals, yeah, that should be a match. I can only think. I can only think there's a problem. Set the starter string internal matches character, literally case sensitive. Oh, that's another thing. We actually want to convert our strings to not be case sensitive as well, just in case somebody puts in publics or public with like different case. So we want to actually convert it to lowercase or be case insensitive. So that's just something that we probably want to do because I don't know what the string of that, but we'll probably do that next stream. I want to get this part done and get off of here for now. All right. All right, let's do grep exact. Okay, cool. See here. So try one. I could do -w, or if you have a dash at the end of the string, try the GNU grep and mark the word boundaries with B. Huh. All right, let's go ahead and try this, guys. All right, so echo publics, and we're pretty much just going to get rid of all of this here. And we're going to do, it says to do double quotes here, and we're going to mark the boundaries with a B. So we'll just do one for now, test that, and then we'll do just multiple after. Cool, so that works. Yeah, it only gets public. All right, so that works good, but let's see if we add another thing in here. Another word. Let's go ahead and try private and internal. All right, get rid of this. All right, publics. That's fine. Let's see if it works for publics. It doesn't work for publics. So I can't use this type of syntax with multiple matches. I could do a whole bunch of ors, but that would be a little bit on the messy side. Um, if your grep supports -p, you can do, yeah. All right, cool. Let's do this one. Mm. Also, you can use the when you're working with Linux, you can use the Control W. You can use the Control W to cut all the way to the last line, or to the last. You can cut the text up to the previous space character. So in this case, I am going to do public. Excuse me. Why is that not working? Oh, I guess K is a part of it, and the string that we're trying to get is the, okay. So looks like this K portion is actually a part of that. All right, cool. So let's do K. All right, cool. So that works. And the reason why I know that is because if you break it down and you know the escape characters, essentially I was doing escape character for P, and it says, escape P, lowercase p or uppercase P and lowercase p are not really recognized. So that means that this K wasn't actually like a command of some sort that it parses or interprets, and then the string that I actually want to use is this here. Now, the only thing is, how do I do multiples? So we'll figure that out here. Let's do publics. All right, perfect. So publics doesn't work. Let's see if I can do multiples in this fashion. If I do private, so we'll just do one for now because I want to bang my head trying to do multiple. Oh, why does publics work now, but didn't work before? Hmm. All right, so okay, public, private. All right, private. Let's see if we can figure this out ourselves. Now, do we have to redo this every time? That's discussing syntax if that's the case. But let's see. I'm sure there's a cleaner way of doing this if this does work. All right, cool. Oh, wow. I'm sure there's a cleaner syntax than that, but let's see if it actually works. Yeah. So I'm sure there's cleaner syntax, but screw it. Let's get this done here. So I can take a little bit of take a bit of a rest here because it seems like I got a little bit of a cough there, cold. I need to go buy some cough drops, so I'll go do that in a little bit. All right. So public, private, and internal. I don't know. I'm sure there's a cleaner way of doing this. I'll Yeah. Let me adhere to what I'm saying here in terms of just making sure I get off of here for you guys. Not that I want to be with you any longer than that, but I don't. I want to make sure I leave on a good note with y'all. Yeah, that looks good. All right, cool. So it looks like it's working. What we're gonna do here is copy and paste this whole string here. All right, and put that in here. Oh, um, Boop. Yeah. All right, good. Cool. So that's done there. That regular expression's in place. Well, let's see if it works. I think we're good on the command. All right. So kind of like fast travel there by just doing a search for the word get. Using Control W to search for get, it gives me the first occurrence, which should be the name of the function there. So well, that makes things a little bit easier. So here, while it is not visibility is not equal to visibility. All right, cool. All right, cool. So we should be good on that. Now let's go ahead and run this. Public. Yeah, boom. That's good. One thing I do notice is there's an extra space here. I don't know why. Oh, because the project name is not in there. That's why. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, okay. So we don't enter a valid visibility or anything like that. And if I press enter, boom, public. All right, I think that's good, guys. Let me just do a quick code check, just to make sure everything looks good there. Hmm. Oh, okay, so that should be good. I don't think there's anything, but you can see how we got rid of all of these or conditionals. So we don't have that. All right, cool. Boom, do while public. All right, good, 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 good. Now let's uncomment all of this here. Actually, no, let's not. Let's leave it as is. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching the stream. Pretty much, we went through some code stuff earlier, or some Azure Blob storage stuff earlier, and now we got our command or our script running, and it creates repos for us. After this, I think the next thing that we'll do probably is finish up this GitHub portion of it, which I think we'll just clean up, do a final run. But the first full run was successful, so that was good. And then now what we're looking at, what in the world? Oh, okay, probably caching information there. Um, So first full run and test project run, those were successful. That's good, and we have that scripted. Now we should have the visibility scripted, and maybe what we'll do is script other portions of this actual command here, just to make sure that we give it everything it needs. In terms of the issues and wikis, I'll probably just not do any of those for now. In terms of disabling them, I'll keep those kind of like that, especially if the project gets a little bit on the bigger side, like some of the projects that I want to actually get more into. All right, so with that, yeah, I homepage, repository homepage URL. Ooh, so we can add things like that. So that'll be cool. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll do that next time. As always, thank you very much for listening. If you're not taking anything if you're not taking what I say with a grain of salt, you're low in sodium. Do your research. Look at these things. Read the fucking manual. RTFM. Um, RTFM. Read the fucking manual. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Uh, so read the fucking manual. Get into the code. Start discovering a little bit more about the code that you're actually writing or the libraries that you're actually using, and then see how they abstract things for you. And you might get better appreciation for some of the things that some of these libraries provide you. Also, you will actually get a better understanding on how to write clean code that can be redistributed and used by millions and millions of people. So hopefully I helped you guys out. As always, thanks. Peace.